Alrighty, we are rolling here at Sharp Kustoms. I'm in the pool. I just dove in. It's my first time in the pool this summer. I guess I should have been in a couple days ago when we were having the heat wave. Because today was actually kind of cool this morning, and the pool chilled out a little bit. But I thought this is where I would start tonight. I'd start in the pool. I just dove in. The camera girl was like, "Did you want me to like film you dive?" I was like, no. Because I got a little pool toy here. This is a I don't know what you want to call it. It's just it's a cheapie. When we bought our pool, I thought it would be cool, to have a couple of these things. They're, do you recognize it? It looks like the Pro Boat jet boat. This was a third of the price. I got two of them, and it was a third of the price. I thought they'd be cool for the pool. Oh, we need some juice. I don't have my glasses on. Where's my speed? We want 3. 3 is the fastest. It's pretty cool. We put some pylons at each end of the pool, and we stand outside of the pool, and we race them. We do like a 6-lap. They're kind of cool because they can hit the side of the pool. And they're pretty quick, little jet boats. Pretty quiet. Just like that. Just like that. But yeah, they're pretty cool. The other one, they said that they were, when I bought them, they said that they were waterproof. Water could get inside them, and it would have hurt them. Of course, the other one, I had a blue one, or one with blue stickers on it, and yeah, it sunk to the bottom of the pool, and I dried it all out, and it never worked again. I'm not going to, I had fun racing with my buddy. It's funny. It was cool because, we'd get a few beers into us. I had these like floating pylons with anchors that went right to the bottom. And, we put a buoy at each end, and we do like 6, 7, 8 laps. It was cool. You know what? And I had lots of practice with these things, and they beat me all the time. Fun for the pool. That's all I'm going to say. And it's got 3 settings. It was pretty cool. Like these were cheapy Amazon. So that's number 1 setting. Kind of submarining. Not very fast. Number 2 setting, double beep. Kind of gets up on plane, but still submarining. Number 3 setting, 3 beeps. That's pretty cool. This one's been modified a wee bit. I'll show you. Yeah, shouldn't have the radio in the pool. So this one's been modified. First thing to go for a crap was the steering servo when it got wet. So I put another little micro servo which was pretty cool because it plugged right into this receiver. It's a brush motor, you know, runs on 7.4 lipo battery, and they go for, oh, I don't know, they go for about, you know, you can go full tilt for probably more than 10 minutes. I'm gonna shut this off. Oh, look at that, even the radio warned you when you shut the power off. Look, there's no, oh, there's a, like one drop of water. So they do seal pretty good, you know, for, I think I got these things for like 65 bucks each off Amazon, like, you know, in a Pro Boat. Like that looks exactly like what Pro Boat sells. And I have one here. I have a Pro Boat jet boat just like this, and it's like 3 times the price, you know. They're like close to 300 bucks. I'm gonna get out of the pool and we're gonna go look at some other stuff, man. But yeah, RC stuff, man, it's not contained to just the asphalt. It's we do the, well, you know, you see my bigger jet boats, and we get the little jet boat. Number 2, the blue. I wish I could get parts. I contacted this, you know, the overseas company that where I bought them, and it's like, yeah, I couldn't. I'm gonna grab a towel. I couldn't get parts for these things, and I know the reason behind it. They just want you to buy another one, and for like $65, yeah, you might as well just, you know what, buy another one and keep the old one that burned out. Just keep it for parts. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go down the stairs. It's nice here tonight in southern Ontario. It's not hot. It was hot earlier today. I'm just gonna throw a t-shirt on. I'm gonna throw my glasses on. I wish we had some brighter sunlight, because here we go. We've got Steven's car. This is the car that is going to the Isle of Wight. It's going to be shipped there, hopefully in, you know, the next few weeks. Steven, I'll be chatting with you probably in the next few days. But there's your color, man. I wish the sun was out so you could see. What, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to carry the car back there, because the sun is shining back there. Hopefully I don't step in any dog doo-doo. I don't think so. I cleaned it up. I cleaned a lot of it up earlier. Let's go back to the sun. See if we can get some bling on this. We'll go back and see the chickens. Where are you, chickens? Chicken. Hey, chicken. Ooh, there you go. We're in the sun. There we go. Now this paint job is not complete. I still have some graphics. Oh, there's one chicken. Yeah, we only got 3 chickens. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. This thing's heavy. this thing's like 35 pounds. It's actually missing a couple pieces because I've been cleaning it up. I took the motor out, took the motor all apart. I detailed it, painted it gold. I got the pipe off. I got some powder coating. My paint ain't, you know, there's a little bit of dust in there, man. But these things are big boy toys. You know, they're not what I consider, you know, SEMA car show quality. You know. Oh, I gotta put it back on the table. And then we're gonna take a little tour, because we want to keep this video short. You know, typical Sharp Kustoms video. Want to keep it short. Oh, we'll set that there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you don't quite get to see the bling. So it was like there is no name for that paint. It was just some numbers. some numbers and some letters, and I figured it's like it's kind of like an orangey gold, and I figured in the clear coat, I'd throw some of the mini gold flake in there and bling it out a bit. And I think it would look. So I've got two ideas. I'm thinking some type of traditional flame or scallops. And they're both, either way I do it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint up a panel tonight. And I'm going to play around with the flames or scallops. Because scallops are pretty cool. You know, they just run back to a point. You know, you do a long one, you do a little bit shorter, a little short one, or you do the reverse order. You do a little short one, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. And my idea, I want the wheels, you know, the rims are black, and I want to pull some black into this, but I got all this, you know, the frame is silver, the motor's got lots of silver on it, so I kind of wanted I was thinking I would combine black and silver, whether it be scallops or traditional, you know, masked out type flames. I think either way it will look absolutely, you know, it'll look good. It'll look stunning. But yeah, so I've been kind of taking bits and pieces off, detailing, because I want to get this shipped over to you, Stephen, very soon. We're going to take a tour into the garage, and I got some other stuff to have a look at. It's a bitchin' ride, just the way it is. Look, you think I was at the beach? You get the towel on me. Coming into the garage, check out the floor, man. The floor, whenever it gets, like, the humidity is high, you can see the moisture come up in the floor. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. We got ruby red. We got ruby red over here, and I've been picking away at this for over a week, and I'm going to explain. So, I wanted to I 3D printed these. They're headlights. Yeah, I did hollow them out inside there, so I could potentially put LEDs. Now they go somewhere around here. And I have two of them. But I needed something. You can't just, I suppose you could have just drilled a hole in here and stuck them in there and glued them like that. But I went online and I looked, and they actually have, it's a headlight bracket. I call it a headlight stanchion. It's kind of like, you know, on roadsters, they have the windshield stanchions. So, me, you know, I'm like, oh, I can't find these. I can't 3D print them, because I looked all over the, you know, Thingiverse and Cults and all these places. That's where I found the headlights, which was pretty cool. I stumbled upon a few other files that I actually downloaded, just because I thought they were cool. So I decided to go on this journey, and so basically what I did is I took some plasticine, because I went on Google, yes, Google, and I looked up the headlight brackets for a 33, 34, you know, coupe, and I kind of got the idea what they kind of look like, and I was like, so this one's probably a little big. So I made one out of Play-Doh, or plasticine, kind of like that, you know, and then the headlight, you put a hole in it, and the headlight kind of sits there like that. And I was like, oh, cool. You know what? I should try and fabricate these little stanchions or holders or whatever you want to call them out of aluminum. I was like, you know, I make lots of stuff out of aluminum. I cast lots of things. So I made a Play-Doh mold of what I kind of wanted, and I put it in a cup, bottom of a cup. Of course, I sprayed PVA, the release agent that I use for doing my fiberglass, over the plasticine, knowing, you know, you don't want anything to bond to it. So then I poured resin into the cup, and I got the impression. Look at that! I got the you know, the stanchion, headlight stanchion impression. But when I ripped the cup apart, the plasticine had melted. Like, I mean, it melted down into pretty much nothing, because as the resin is curing, it creates so much you know, thermal heat. It just melted the plasticine, and I kind of knew that, and I went with a 1% mix on my resin. So I ended up with this resin cast, you know, polyester resin cast of what I wanted. And then I used short strand fiberglass. Of course, I PVA'd this, you know, brushed it in, whatnot, and then I made, that's short strand fiberglass, stuck a screw in there so I could pull it out, and I made 2 of them. Did it twice, so I had 2, and the reason I did 2 is because I knew that I wanted to pour, if I was going to pour aluminum, I didn't want to do one at a time. I wanted to do both at the same time. So I coated both of these things. A couple of them, you can see the yellow. That's body filler. And I had to clean them up a little bit. I PVA'd them, and then I was like, oh wait, man, I'm gonna dip these into a plaster mold, which is water. You know, it contains water. Well, PVA is, my release stuff is water soluble. So after I PVA'd them like three times, I gave them a brush coat of Partle wax. Just a nice light coat of wax, thinking that will repel the water from when I, you know, point these into my plaster. And here you go. Here's my, so this is my plaster mixed with fiberglass. And they're not identical, they're close. They're dang close. But yeah, I boinked them, or I plunked them down into the plaster after I poured it into this, you know, piece of can. And I let the plaster kind of solidify, kind of harden up. I'm not using plaster of Paris. I'm using more like it's right here. This stuff. Certainteed. 90 minute. I used to use lots of the plaster, but I found this stuff works just as good. And my mix, I mulch up the fiberglass into my water before I put the powder in, and I find, you know, when you do the cook, when you cook the plaster, it tends to hold it together better, because it straight up anything tends to crack when you know, you kiln dry it or cook it or whatever. So today, so there you go. There's the process. That's a long ass process doing, you know, just to make a couple little aluminum pieces. And here you go. Here's a pour. Ugly. It's very ugly. It's my first pour in here. So I cooked this over the period of a week in the barbecue. You know, because I didn't want to fire up my wood stove and cook it, and I cooked it like 3 or 4 times, trying to cure the you know, the wallboard cement, whatever you want to call it, the plaster. And the first aluminum that I poured in here this morning, it was bubbling like crazy, and I had to stand back because, you know, moisture and hot molten aluminum don't mix And the first two to come out of this, because the aluminum poured over the sides and whatnot, but it just left a little tin kind of skin, and these are the first two right here. And we'll talk about those after I show you that. So then what I did is I didn't like it the way it was flowing over the edge, so I put a gear clamp around here just up a little higher so I could fill it a little thicker, and I could end up with something like this. And as you can see, these are all these little divots, these big dips. That was where it was still bubbling. Like moisture was still coming out of this stuff. Like, you know, and I just kind of poured it, and as it was bubbling, it was like I was poking it with my poker. I was breaking the bubbles, you know, hoping it would kind of solidify, and you know, that was number two. The first two weren't bad. They had a little bit of pitting, and then I did a third, and they come out okay, but they lost, as you can see, in these little molds, some of the plaster kind of started to deteriorate. So I lost a little bit of the, you know, of the shape. I cut this one out purely so you could see it. Now that's a perfectly good, usable thing. It's got a little bit more aluminum here, which I could file out, which I did with the very first two. So I spent a couple hours. I filed these out. They are aluminum, and the reason I wanted aluminum, you know, you're probably saying, well, why couldn't you have just used these and, you know, kind of prime them, paint them, you know, and they'd have been okay, because this is just short strand fiberglass. And when you try and drill into it, it tends to crack open. I would love to use just pure resins or pure plastics and stuff like that, but I wanted the aluminum for its strength. And yes, I had pitting, and as you can see, both of these, they have a coating on them. So I did a 5-minute epoxy with a couple drops of silver paint mixed into the epoxy, and I kind of filled the pitting, and I gave them kind of a complete coat. I think they, you know, they're strong now. I think they look good. And the headlight, I drilled one out just so you could see it. The headlight, yeah, these were hot when I drilled it out. They were a little bit warm. So that will get put in there. There is a hole drilled in the bottom of the peg. I'm thinking glue. Glue might work, but that'll go somewhere like that. I'd like to let it go, but I know it will just slide down the fender. So probably a screw up from the bottom will hold that there. I got my headlight bracket. I got my headlights. And my next quest with this car is I would love to find some 3D printed teardrop taillights for on the back, you know, on the back of the car. And that's about as far as I'm going to take it as far as detailing this car. I don't want a whole bunch of, you know, these will be good and solid. They'll stay there. I know they will. Once I put a screw up from the bottom. And I've got this, so the real ones, they actually have a fastener that goes down through over here, you know, into the fender, so it can't, you know, so it can't rotate. But yeah, a little more. There's some epoxy on the bottom, and there's a nub. And I'll definitely fasten these. But I think that's pretty cool. And there is, believe it or not, there is, if you look at them very closely, they do lean a little bit. So there is kind of a left and right, which is kind of confusing to me. You know, this one leans this way, this one leans that way. Both of these fiberglass ones were taken from the same mold, and how we ended up with, you know, what I consider a left and a right is beyond me. But there you have it. Yeah, this is kind of some of the crazy stuff that I get involved in. Like all this process. Yeah, this took. Yeah, I picked away at this over the period of this past week. Oh, and right behind the camera girl, prior to picking away at this stuff and the other car, yes, I did electrical on the 49 shoebox. I got the rad fitted. Had to make some brackets for the power steering pump. I did a whole ton of electrical inside on the steering column. And we're getting there, man. We got the rad just kind of sitting here. Unfortunately, this nice electric fan cannot go on the inside where I normally like to put it. But the cool thing is the instructions for the fan explain how you flip the blade and you can turn it into a pusher fan. And so I can put it on the outside here. I got my tranny lines. Finally got my tranny lines on. I brought them out the front here. They're both flanged. Gonna probably put a tranny cooler up here up front because the radiator don't have plumbing for trans lines. But yeah, we're getting closer with this thing, man. I've been picking away, did some undercoat inside with the fresh metal and stuff. But yeah, I just thought it's been almost a week, and I thought I would jump in the pool, drive my little jet boat in the pool, and kind of show you what's been going on. So there you have it, man. It's Friday. It is Friday. Right after this video, you know what I'm doing. But yeah, man, share, like, subscribe. Hope you liked what you saw. Don't forget to comment. Love you all. Peace. I'm out.